Nation Network. What's going on? Hey, it's CVV, Chris Van Vliet, and you guys are crushing it. I want to send you a big congratulations on the 2,000 subscribers. And I love that everybody's kind of jumping on board here and realizing how great the content that you're putting out is. So for the community, a big thank you for being part of the Nation Network. And you guys are just getting started. Woo! Keep it going.
The following contest is the men's War Games match. The rules of the match are as follows. Two teams will be contained in separate cages, with one member of each team starting the match. At regular intervals, alternating members from each team will be released to enter the match. The team with the advantage will be the first to have a member released into the match. Once all competitors have entered, War Games officially begins. The match can be won by pinfall or submission. Exiting the cage will result in a forfeit. And now, let the War Games begin!
All right, wrestling fans, we are back here on the Nation Network. Welcome, everybody, to the drop of the WCW pack. This is a bit of a return match just over a week ago. Halloween Havoc. We saw the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and the Road Warriors dismantled by the Faces of Fear. Tonight, each of these teams is going to be adding a fourth member. As we take a look at the man who is in charge of the Faces of Fear, the Taskmaster himself, Kevin Sullivan. Waiting to find out who he has got to join his squad here to make it a 4-on-4 war. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, says it was an off night. Tonight they're going to settle it up. Now, and here comes his opponent, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
And from Austin, Texas, weighing in at 289 pounds, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
The American Dream, he's got something to prove here tonight. He's got to prove that what happened at Halloween Havoc was a bad night at the office. The animosity between these two men, it runs deep, it runs long. I'm surprised they've already not started this thing. I thought they would go straight at one another. Both these men, no strangers to the steel confines of a cage, but this one is a little bit different. Anyone who's ever been in a Hell in a Cell will tell you it is a different dog. And there's a back body drop, and Kevin Sullivan early on, the Taskmaster, taking control of the situation. And now Dusty Rhodes going to work on him in between the two rings. And now Sullivan going open, and Dusty Rhodes ducks it out. Irish whip, and Sullivan landing on that steel platform. Not sure if it'd be better off falling outside of the ring onto the hard floor versus hitting that steel, call it a landing pad for the lack of anything better. Dropped down by the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Another one, and Kevin Sullivan better be ready. Big right hand now. Oh, and they exchange back and forth, and Sullivan gets the upper hand. Here's the Irish whip reversal now by Dusty Rhodes. Another drop down. Sullivan was ready for it. Hey, these two guys know each other. A lot of history. And Kevin Sullivan just run into the steel cage. Who's going to be the next one, and who's going to have the advantage? Who is it? It's the Road Warrior Animal and Kevin Sullivan, and the Faces of Fear will be shorthanded for the next 2 minutes. Thus far, Animal is just standing by. He hasn't actually, oh, never mind. He was letting these guys do their thing, and now Kevin Sullivan's going to have to come off and take both of them out. Shoulder tackle by Dusty Rhodes. Double team, look at this. Front and back heel sweep at the same time. Sullivan landing hard on the back of his head. And now Animal has him up. Powerful suplex, and Kevin Sullivan's world is rocked. It is going to be a long 2 minutes. Oh, he manages to come out with a back body drop, but Dusty Rhodes right there to make him pay. And now who would it? It's the Boogeyman! The Boogeyman! And finally things have evened up for the Faces of Fear, but not doing well is Kevin Sullivan right now. Boogeyman might want to come to his aid. Irish whip on both sides. Sullivan caught the Road Warrior. Now a shoulder block, down he goes. And he's got Animal down. Double rake of the eyes. Meantime, Dusty Rhodes is in ring number 2 with the Boogeyman, setting him up. Big knee lift by Sullivan now. What is he doing? Sullivan's going back over, and he's going after the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And he caught him. We've mentioned it in the past. We'll mention it again. The bad blood between these two men. Sullivan with a Russian leg sweep. Straight out of Boston. And here comes the other half of the Legion of Doom, Hawk. Boogeyman's climbing the cage. What is he doing? He can't get over. He'll get disqualified if he leaves. Oh, he's not leaving. Holy. He just caught the Road Warrior with that top cross body block. And I mean, that was 15 feet up. And now Hawk turns his attention to the Boogeyman. There's a double team right there by the Faces of Fear. Welcome to the War Games. And now Animal, Kevin Sullivan, shoulder block, down he goes, but Boogeyman is right there. Faces of Fear are short-handed, but they're doing all right for themselves momentarily anyway. Dusty Rhodes got caught. Oh! Low blow by Kevin Sullivan on Dusty Rhodes. And now Sullivan to pay the price. Who's next? Who we got? Papa Shango! And he's bringing some toys. The plunder is heading in. Animal right now with a trapezius nerve pinch. You can draw a submission, but the problem is you don't have all 8 men in the ring. There's no submission. There's no quit. There's no count out. There's no pinfall. Sullivan now being ragdolled across the ring. Oh, look at this. Animal. I thought he was going to the top of the cage. Off the top rope, though, instead with an elbow drop. That's not something we're used to seeing the Road Warriors do. Meantime, Dusty Rhodes being punished by Papa Shango in that ring number 1. Over the top, and Sullivan now all the action goes to ring 1. We've got a table set up over in ring 2. I'll tell you right now, Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors definitely look like they're here for some retribution after what happened at Halloween Havoc. Who's the 4th man? It's a total package! Lex Luger, are you kidding me? The total package, Lex Luger, has joined forces with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. He's got a stop sign. We've got kendo sticks, we got tables, we got a stop sign. There's a chair in there. It looks like Home Depot exploded. DDT on that steel platform. Sullivan, oh, look, he might be trying it again. Road Warrior Animal says, I don't think so. Sullivan battling his way out. Well, we had a hell of a battle right between the rings, and now back inside the squared circle. Sullivan is up. Suplex into the turnbuckle. That's a great Buddha. The Great Buddha is the final man. And now the War Games officially underway. Pinfall or submission. Dusty Rhodes has got Kevin Sullivan through the table. Sullivan writhing around, and he can't believe what just happened. Oh, we got a spike. I don't know if it was a pile driver or a shoulder breaker, but Hawk right now is going up against both the Great Muta and Papa Shango. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, going to work with those elbows. Hawk just got busted open. They are doing a hell of a job on the Road Warrior. Look at him battling back. This is why we say this is a match that cuts years off of careers. Oh, he caught him with the spike. Sullivan with the spike, and Luger able to make the save. Total Package has him up. Deposits him throat first across the top rope. manages to kick out. I don't know where he got that from. Meantime, Hawk is in dangerous trouble. And total package once again right after the Taskmaster. We got a one-on-one match in ring number 1. Big shoulder breaker. And now Dusty Rhodes at the mercy of Papa Shango. Muta trying to draw submission from the Road Warrior. Muta's on top of the cage. Cross body block. Will that be enough? He kicked out. Sullivan set his man up, and now Sullivan's going to try it. Meantime, in ring number 1, Boogeyman able to come out the back door. This is War Games. Muta got receiving end of the pinfall there, but he kicked out on 1. Dusty Rhodes with the elbow. And that's all she wrote. Kevin Sullivan defeated by the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, in the War Games. Vengeance is a dish best served cold. It's been a long 2 weeks for the Legion of Doom and the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, but all roads led to the War Games here at Fall Brawl, and it was worth the wait. All right, hello everybody. How y'all doing out there? Miracle X in the house. Dale Sandiford is here. One King Entertainment Smooth Realism is here. Glad to see everybody. And we are looking now at what I would say was the most anticipated DLC pack of the entire 2K24 franchise. This was the one when I saw the list. I was like, why is it got to be the last one? Why is it got to be the last one? I want this one now. Because now, back then, we didn't know what we didn't know. We knew it was going to have Muta. Didn't know we were going to have 2 versions of Muta. And I'm very happy about that because they do a good job of representing different eras in his career. The one that we just saw here is the one that I personally like a little bit better, but they're both great. We finally have a different Lex Luger. We've had the same Lex Luger in many games over the last decade. And just to see that they've changed the hairstyle, done a much better job on the face, things like that, little things. And I was never a fan of the orange trunks. I recall him wearing them, but not for that big a part of his career. He wore them back when he was a heel, going against Brian Pillman for the U.S. title. But for the most part, when I think of Lex Luger, I think black trunks, black knee pads, white boots. That's just me. Let's take a look at these characters, shall we? And for that, we are going to go into the creations mode. Dun, dun, dun. Try not to skip over anybody. I'm not going to be thinking alphabetically. I'm just going to scroll until I see a new one. But it's a great pack. Some good names. Everything I've seen so far, like in the way of entrance videos. And we're going to run all the entrances and stuff here. We'll put them into matches and get a feel for them. That was supposed to be a simulated match, and I screwed up. But it worked out well. Turned out to be a better match than I was anticipating. Most of the War Game matches I'm not, blown away with, but that one was actually pretty good. Alphabetically, Diamond Dallas Page. Let's take a look. I'm surprised I didn't put Dallas in there instead of Luger, but it is what it is. All right, so just black attire. That's a little boring. Let's see. Entrance. So you got the black attire with the T-shirt. Okay. Everything I have seen, yeah. I mean, man, look at the detail in that face. They're getting good at this, ain't they? Their nose is crooked as fuck. Makes you want to look at a picture of Diamond now to see, is his nose really jacked up like that? I don't think it is. But they got his eyes down really good. He's got very particular eyes. So that came out great. And let's take a look at the tats. Of course, those are always on point. There was supposed to be another settlement. No, I don't know about settlement, but a decision rendered in the tattoo case recently. And I never heard what happened with it. If anyone knows, of course, tattoo artists are trying to say that they are due royalties if their tattoos are featured in a video game, which is absolutely obscene and absurd. If I pay you to put it on my body, it is my property now. You no longer have any rights to it. You can't reclaim it. You can't copyright or trademark it. That's the way the agreement works. So I don't see them having a leg to stand on, but at the meantime, it's still going through the courts. So there's Diamond Dallas Page. I think he looks really, really good. Awesome job on Diamond Dallas. So we can at least skip down to the D's. I forgot George Steele was in this game. Holy shit. Muda. Here we go. We'll start with the base model. I apologize if you guys can hear that background noise. That's my ceiling fan, but it's a warm friggin' day here. And I don't mind this one either. I think this is also another good look for Muda. From what I've been told, the hairs are not in the game, other than on these models, of course, but like you can't use them in Create a Suite. I mean, Muda only has to look so good because the paint's really what's going to do it. So as long as you get the shape of the face down right, the paint's going to really... Unless there's a way to remove the paint, which I'm sure some of these creator guys are going to do that. Give you a paint-free Muda, and then we'll see if it really looks a lot like him or not. But, you know, the body style, that's pretty much what I remember back in the day. Remember when he first came to the United States, he was part of Championship Wrestling from Florida, the Eddie Graham territory. And I believe he was with Muda, or not Muda, but Kevin Sullivan's team then. And he couldn't have been 19 years old, maybe. But my God, he was, you know, he was the first guy in America to do a moonsault, and I remember seeing that shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Did I not take the second attire this time? Oh, yeah, it's all right. So the same trunks and everything, it's just the face paint. And even the hair is the same. I thought the hair was different. All right, well, at least you get different face paint. Because I kind of like the black and white. Looks like the other one is still underneath it, though. Check that out. Yeah, it looks like the other paint stays there, and this just kind of gets pasted over the top of it. Sure looks that way. Well, there's something for 5 things you didn't know. No, don't want to do that. Yeah, I wanted to see this. I don't know if I looked at his entrance attire in the other one. And this apparently was, I forget who he fought. Was it Sting in Japan where he came out with this outfit? I think it was him and Sting. Could have been Vader. I forget now. But that's where he wore this outfit, and that's where they got the idea to put that on him in the game. So again, 2 for 2. They've done really well on these 2 models. They don't always hit home runs with these, we know that. So it's nice to see when they do. All right, let's see. Who's up? Who's up? Ah, Sheiky Baby! Hot tour! Spit on that thing. Okay. I'm liking the trunks. He doesn't have a second attire. No. I do like the fact that they've got the full-on robe. We could talk about his entrance later on, I suppose. Let's take a look at him with the full gear. I mean, who doesn't remember him coming out with this outfit on and then attacking Bob Backlund, choking him out on his way to winning the championship? Yeah, look at that. Really well done. So Sheik has that lower lip that's really pronounced, like even below the lower lip, and they caught that perfectly here. Always looked like he had a bunch of tobacco under there or something like that. It's puffed up and shit. And, yeah, they hit that one right on the head. It's a great model of the Iron Sheik. Even the underneath part of the chin, you know, that little extra, you know, pudginess, whatever you want to call that there. He always had somewhat ripped abs, even though he has a lot of them. So, yeah, they gave him a little bit of that puffy roundness, but they're still defined. And then down here. So let's go bounce out and take a look at him without all the gear on. See, for me, the Iron Sheik's always had a very specific head shape. And if you don't get that right, nothing else works. This looks like they got it right. Yeah, there it is. That kind of flat top thing that goes on there. So, yeah, I feel like they did a really good job capturing this. Even the little bit of ripples in the back of his head. I'm telling you, they did really well with these models. And then you got that cleft in his chin that you could you could sit envelopes in between. They wouldn't go nowhere. Let's get a better look at the body now. Let's back up. Gosh damn it. There we go. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty solid. Boots look great. You got the socks going. Sheiky baby. I'm liking it. We're going to throw him in a match in a few seconds so we can get a look at everything. Not sure how he really ties into the WCW pack, really. I mean, yeah, he did a short stint there, and it wasn't anything to write home about. It was by far his worst work at the end of his career. They ended up paying him to stay home. That was a bad idea. Never mind. Stay home, Sheiky baby. Here's your check. Oh, thank you very much. Let's see. Go down 5 more pages to get rid of the John Cenas. Total package, Lex Luger. They got him all black. Black knee pads, black boots, black trunks. Thought he had wrist tape. Did Luger not wear tape? I thought he was a guy that had wrist tape. So finally, like I said, we got the traditional ponytail, which sadly, if that's not in the Creation Suite, because that would be better than most of the options you have for ponytails there. Let's get a look at the face. Again, Luger has very specifics when it comes to the mouth area. He's got very wide. When I say wide, I'm talking about, you know, left to right. His mouth kind of like, it goes further across. Which I kind of feel like they caught that here, yeah. Also, the nose has that little thing going on with the tip of it where it kind of protrudes a little bit further than a lot of others, and that's there as well. So good detail. I like the forehead. Yeah, I really can't say enough about these models. I'm really impressed. Then, of course, the package, man, the physique was always the calling card for him. And there you have it. Total package, Lex Luger. So to address the elephant in the room, one of the things that has also come out is there are going to be some My Faction cards available where you'll have alternate attires for these guys, most of it being Wolfpack attire. But, of course, you know the game. You got to get the card you need to compete in the match you need to win in order to unlock the Superstars attire that you want. And my guess is since there's 5 of them, there will be 5 different cards you'll have to have. It's just, look, if you want to do it that way, that's fine to have it as an option. But you're hurting yourself as a company if that's the only way somebody can achieve them for 2 reasons. I wanted the Big Papa Pump, right? Enough that I was willing to try and give it a shot. And the first time out, I forget what the challenge was, but I had the cards necessary, so that's why I said, okay, I got the cards, I'll do it. And I tried the match about 6 times, and I said, F this. If you remember, I think it was 2K19 where you had to defeat the streak with The Undertaker, and like maybe 1 out of 100 people could even think about doing it because it was ridiculously overpowered, and you know you'd make one mistake, and that's it. Undertaker's just going to pin you now, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Well, that's the way this challenge was. It was just so one-sided. I don't remember what it was right now, but I just know that the minute you weren't on offense, your opponent was going to go on offense, hit you with 2 or 3 moves and pin you, and the back-and-forth meter was going to go 100 miles an hour. So unless you got really lucky, and then you're going to have to get really lucky a few times because you're going to get pinned again, assuming you survived the first one. I just think you've got a lot of people with different levels of playing skill. Anything from young kids who might not be that good to older folks that might not be that good that also want the opportunity to have these wrestlers in their roster. So here's a thought. At least offer them for, you know, $2.99, $4.99 tops. How much money would you think they would have made? I mean, you'd have got $5 out of me. And I got a feeling a lot of people would have probably dropped an extra $5. Look, and then there's people that bitch about that. Oh, I paid for the season pass and I got to. You got everything they advertise in the season pass. You have nothing to complain about. They just gave us the WCW Fall Brawl Arena, which was never advertised, never told, and here it is. So we got to be given the good with the bad. So as long as they're giving you every... Damn, is that good? Holy shit. God dang it, that is amazingly good. There are people they've scanned in the game that don't look as good as this. I'm telling you, nobody can complain about this pack. That is spectacular. But like I said, you're getting everything that they said you were going to get and more. Now, if they want to continue putting more content, like I want the Macho Man with the Slim Jim costume, I would pay $4, $5 time. I won't ever pay more than $5. But I would pay $5 for it. Because I already got Macho King as advertised. I already got Macho Man as advertised. I got what they promised me. And now here's a couple of extras if you want them. I don't get why people are going to bitch about that. You have nothing to bitch about. Don't buy it. It's that simple. Don't buy it. But if anything's happened in the last 10 days, we have taught entitled people you ain't entitled. All right, let's see. For those of you that know, you know. The 3 faces of Orton. I hardly even remember Rhea with her head shaved like that. Every time I see that thumb, I'm like, really? Yeah, I guess so. I forgot. Who else am I looking for? Should be, I think, one more. Scripts. Matter of fact, I think Shawn Michaels, wasn't one of these Shawn Michaels and added one that wasn't supposed to happen? Showcase, never mind. Shinsuke Nakamura, is he still around? I haven't seen him in a minute. Tiffany Stratton. Apparently she's been having some wardrobe malfunctions. I wasn't there. Damn it. Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy. Got takers. Was that it? I felt like there was another one missing. We did Sheik, Luger, Diamond Dallas Page. All right, I guess that's it. All right, let's take a look at everybody's entrance. We will do a 5-superstar Battle Royale. WCW Fall Brawl. Stick with that. Somebody was saying, it was one of the bigger channels, I think, was saying something about it. It's a really bland looking arena. That's the way it looked. The whole idea is that they're going to make it accurate to what it was, and that's what it was. All right, download the superstars. Let's get them all in, and then I might add an extra one, I think. We'll see. There's Dallas. Y'all can pick the winner on this one here. DDP. Dumbass. This time we'll go with the Red Muta. Cheeky baby. Get a look at Luger with his entrance at gear. And Mr. Perfect. So if you do end up getting, when it comes out, the Mr. Perfect Wolfpack, they will have the call name and the lettering for Kurt Hennig instead of Mr. Perfect, which is pretty cool. For that alone, I kind of want it because I'll make an alt attire for him, maybe as the AWA wrestling gear, but just to have him called Kurt Hennig. Self high five.
The following contest is a 5-man battle royal. Making his way to the ring from the Jersey Shore, weighing in at 248 pounds, Diamond Dallas Page. And his opponents, from the land of the rising sun, weighing in at 230 pounds, the Great Muta.
I like the music. I'm not sure if he actually had that music at all in WCW or not. The Mist. Cheeky baby with the flag. That's going to be interesting right now. All right, so first thing I'll say, wherever Cheeky Baby is bringing that flag to get it dry clean, you might want to go easy on the starch. I mean, I'm no game programmer, so I don't know what goes into it, but I feel like the flag should have a lot more, like when it's not being swung around, it should kind of just lay downward along the pole. But at least they got the flag in there and it's accurate, so, you know. Actually, with the way things are in the world today, I'm a little surprised they put it in. Muta was indeed. He was to stay ahead of his time is definitely accurate. When you talk about Trailblazers and all, you look at the Rob Van Dams and the Hardys and all that, it all started with Muta, man.
From Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 275 pounds, the Total Package, Lex Luger.
I am so glad they actually gave him some sort of ring gear. Whatever one they would have went with, I would have been fine with just to get some ring gear. Normally, we just had him in the trunks coming out all the time, so. Jackson, what's happening, man? It's NWA themed. Well, there you go. It sounded vaguely familiar, but there's no way I could have told you yet that it was or wasn't. Got breakaway pants? There we go. It's nice to see them put a little time into the total package. Normally we get the same thing, rinse and repeat. Solid. Well done. Yeah, well, you have to remember when it comes to the music, there are copyright laws and all this kind of stuff and licensing, and are they willing to spend it? They're not. I mean, think of how much money they had to spend just for CM Punk. And then with Ronda Rousey, and it can only be used in Ronda Rousey's model. You can't use it in the other parts of the game or in the jukebox mode.
Weighing in at 260 pounds, Mr. Perfect.
As I said, I think all of them look great, but I think Kurt Hennig just, for me, steals the spotlight. We're going to smack the gum. Do it. No? There you go. All right, Battle Royal. Who are we picking? I'm going to go with a total package, Lex Luger, which means he'll be eliminated first, probably. Look at Muta wrestling the Iron Sheik. That's a match I wouldn't mind seeing. There ain't nobody in this match that hadn't been a heel at one point in time or another. That means they all capable of being dirty. Oh, Luger and the Sheik working together on the Great Muta. Nice move by Perfect there, the neck wrencher. And what did I tell you? There goes Luger, right? Hang on, buddy. Hang on. You're my horse. Damn it. I told you he'd be the first one eliminated. I can pick him, just not the right order. And Perfect was going to be my other one, so I'm done. I swear, if Sheik wins it, it's going to be another one of those WrestleMania Legends Battle Royals. He can't take a bump. Got to let him win. Smooth was rooting for Muta or Perfect. Well, you're down to one, but you got one more than I got. At this point, I'm going with Dallas Page, which means he should be going out right about now. Move that horse collar clothesline. Rake of the eyes. Oh, now the double team on DDP. I kind of want to see Muta and the Sheik go one-on-one here. Get rid of Dallas. And let them be the last two. Diamond Cutter. No, I don't jinx myself. I just have a talent for picking the wrong one. You know what they say, man. Vegas wasn't built on winners. And I'm here to tell you. Speaking of gambling, speaking of winners and losers, who do we like on Friday night? Are we taking Tyson? There goes Sheiky, baby. I can't get anything to work out. I had this long conversation with a guy from work who's actually bet, it was 30-1 odds, and he bet $5, I think, or $10, that 30-1 odds that Tyson ends the fight in 60 seconds or less. And I said, well, here's the deal, buddy. If it's a legit fight, it'll be over in 30 seconds or less. He'll hit him once, it'll be over. Jake Paul's never been hit the way Mike Tyson's going to hit him. But that's if Mike Tyson hits him the way Mike Tyson can hit him. And I only say that because you look back on that Roy Jones fight during the COVID, and Tyson did catch him with a hell of a body shot, and it hurt him. And then Tyson lightened up and carried him to the end because it was always understood that we're not here to get a knockout, but we're paying for one. We kind of want to see one. I think it's already kind of predetermined between the two of them. Ooh, face first. Nicely done. That Tyson won't kill him and hit him legit. I don't know that they're going to. Here's the thing. If Tyson does another draw. Bye. If Tyson goes and has another draw, he's pretty much ended any chance of another pay-per-view of any kind. Because now the fix is in and we know you're not really even trying to fight. Roy Jones, all right, you're both older and you're definitely in better shape than he is and you don't want to cripple an old man. I get that. But here you have Jake Paul, younger by 20 years. Smart mouth. Half the internet wants to see him get his jaw broke. But then I think to myself, Jake's dumb, but he ain't stupid. And what I mean by that is real simple. If this was going to be a real fight, an honest-to-God 2-minute, 8-round boxing match where you're going to unload what you got, then Jake Paul would never be at that press conference saying, man, I'm going to kill you worse than your daughter. You'll be able to say hi to your daughter. There's no way he'd have said that shit. That had to have been agreed to in the back before they ever got in front of microphones, the same way they do in wrestling. Hey, man, I'm gonna go for it, man. Go. No, I mean, is it okay if I do it? Yeah. But you check first. You make sure it's okay. If he thought Mike Tyson was legit there to fight him and hurt him, he ain't making this, you're going to get to meet your daughter comment. No. And even if Tyson okayed that was just terrible, man. That was not well done. If Tyson drops him, I'm waking up the neighbors. And again, guys, we're all on the same page. A real fight, it's over in less than 2 minutes. Jake ain't got nowhere to run. And he can't go toe-to-toe. I actually watched a couple of his fights on YouTube, the Anderson Silva one. And, all right, so Anderson, he was a professional fighter, but not a boxer. Did he get trained in boxing to a certain degree? Sure, he's MMA. But was he a boxer? No. He's not Evander Holyfield. Not Riddick Bowe. Sure as fuck ain't Mike Tyson. And that said, it was only a couple of lucky punches at the very end that gave Jake the win. Jake, buddy, you ain't getting lucky on Friday night unless it's orchestrated, unless that fix is in. Because I'm just telling you, Tyson with one body punch, that would be no mas. No mas. I'm done. Pay me, pin me. But we'll see. I don't have Netflix. I gave up on that a long time ago, and I was half thinking, all right, well, I'll just get it for 1 month, and this way I can watch the fight. I was thinking about getting it on pay-per-view, like I did for the Roy Jones Jr. It costs about $30-$40, maybe something like that. I don't do that very often, so I figured, yeah, what the hell, I'll treat myself. And then the more I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, you look at that Roy Jones fight, and it really wasn't such a great fight. It would have probably been better with a live crowd, but at the same point in time, it just, yeah, he wasn't really trying to win. So I had determined that I'm not going to get the pay-per-view. And then I find out, oh, it's on Netflix. What's a month for Netflix? And it's around $7 to $10, depending. Well, I was going to pay $30 or $40, so maybe I'll pay for the 1 month and just watch the match and then cancel it. But then I'm like, but why? Because I feel like the fix is in. I don't think it's going to be I think people are going to, again, if you already have Netflix, then you didn't lose any money on the deal. It's not like a pay-per-view. And Tyson, of course, is getting his Netflix money, so he don't give a shit. Yeah, I feel like it's not going to be worth the time. And I got to be up for work early the next day. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to save my money. It will be on YouTube for hours before they catch it and take it down. And either way, I'll know who won and if it was legit or not. I might not want to watch it. Oh, I don't think Mike's got a chance of getting hurt. I don't think there's a chance in hell that Jake could hurt Mike. And seriously, Jackson, at this point in time, this mental debate that we're having with ourselves, it's like, I don't think he would do that. I'm wondering, D-Train, missed you there, buddy. I didn't see you sneaking in the back door. D-Train is in the house. He didn't add money. He throws the towel over the shoulder. But I think right now the draw for the Tyson fight is the fact that we are all mentally fucking with ourselves. Is he wouldn't take the fall. I mean, it's really a wrestling match at the end of the day. It's scripted. The outcome is predetermined. We just don't know what it is. And for that reason alone, then again, most everyone has Netflix. I'm in the vast minority on that, and I'm fine with that. And I got rid of it many years ago because Netflix was more than woke. They were becoming disturbing with some of the content they were putting up at that time. They had a thing called Cuties, which I think has finally been removed. But it was abhorrent, to say the least, that they would have put that out there. And heavily promoted it, by the way. But this was at the very beginning of the woke movement where they were trying to make us all understand that sexualizing children is normal behavior. And for that reason, I got rid of my Netflix, and I have not looked back. I seriously don't see me getting the fight. So I'll watch it on replay somewhere. You know, there'll be plenty of links to it or whatever. Smooth realism. Father Time's undefeated because you got to remember, when you're talking about Father Time, you're talking about Larry Holmes. Okay, Larry Holmes got in there with a very young Mike Tyson, who was a beast. And Larry had been boxing nonstop for years and took a lot of shots over the years and years and years. Muhammad Ali fought for many, many years, stayed active in the ring, got hit a lot, then went in against Larry Holmes and got hit a lot more. With Tyson, he hasn't been fighting. And try to compare Mike Tyson at 56, 58. What is he, 58 years old, I think? Compare a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. How old was Larry Holmes when he fought Mike Tyson? 44? Compare the two. How old was Ali when he fought Larry Holmes? 47? 48? Compare the two. At 58, Mike Tyson moves better than Ali ever did. Ali might have been a little smarter in-ring performer. Might have had his head, screwed on where he doesn't get emotional. But as a pure athlete goes, a 58-year-old Mike Tyson would kick the ever-living shit out of Muhammad Ali in his prime. Blazed Radio. It's in the house. $9.99. Something else used to be $9.99. What was that? Oh, yeah. The WWE Network. I have not seen Holyfield lately, but last time I saw him was about, year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and he didn't look good. Didn't sound good. Yeah, I just got done with that. I like it. It's the way the arena looked. Nothing flashy about it. Served its purpose. Had a fun little match. So I've got two predictions for Friday night. One, if it's a real fight, and one, if it's not. So if it's a real fight, Mike Tyson wins in less than 2 minutes. Might not be a knockout. I wouldn't be surprised if Jake just is like, I'm done. He hit me. I'm done. Or maybe just to put it over the top, maybe Logan's in the corner and throws in the towel. Oh, let me get on Vegas and see what the odds are. Yeah, they can't really put the top on, though, because it'll mess up the rest of the game. I mean, they have to be able to climb to the top to do aerial stuff, and then if you had one ring or one arena with a top on it, man, you see how they fuck this game up every time they add shit to it. You'd have people's heads, like, going through the top of the cage and then bouncing along while the body's diving off the ropes and shit. Which I know for you, you'd find that entertaining and all that, but yeah, I think it's probably best that they didn't do that. Smooth, when we're talking about Holyfield was looking good, before what fight are we referring to? Has he fought in the last 2 years? I didn't know about it if he did. Look at us talking boxing. Holy shit. I almost got that Undisputed game because they finally have a boxing game for a PS4 or 5 console. And I'm watching videos of it, and it's like, this is shit. It's not a good game. Sorry. Graphically, it's not very good. Moves. I mean, it's trying really hard to be the, what was that boxing champions thing? It's trying really hard to be that, the EA Fight Night. But it doesn't. It just doesn't come off, and the moves are very clunky, and just, nah, I'm not spending. And they want like $80. I'm like, you're out your fucking minds. No Mike Tyson? No. You ain't getting that out of me. You don't even have Mike Tyson in the game. It's 2024, and they can't put a top on top of the cage and take out the top cage stuff. But yeah, I get it too. And here's the deal. Now a lot of the question is about this game. This is it. Today's it. There's no more patches. And unless something they just downloaded in the last patch fucked up something I'm not familiar with, which would probably be online play, if anything, because that's one thing I never even mess with. They've never fixed half the stuff that's broken. Like Universe Mode, if I set up a card and then I say, okay, I'll play it tomorrow, I have to redo the whole card because it's all fucked up. At best, if you're lucky, the matches are still there, but all the titles have dropped off. But usually, it'll also switch out a match or two. Or maybe even 3 or 4. So they've never even fixed that, and they're not going to, clearly, at this point in time. They're done. So all roads lead to 2K25, and we haven't heard officially yet, but a lot of rumblings that it will not be for the last generation console. So it's PS5 time. That could be good and bad. Obviously good. You should have better graphics, better gameplay. On the bad side, and somebody brought this up, and I wasn't even thinking about it, but when I think it was 2K14, then into 2K15, which was the first time you had to get, no more PS3s. Well, not only did they switch to the new platform, but they had to release a lot of the Creation Suite stuff because they hadn't had time to rebuild it for the new platform. So a lot of hairstyles that were always around weren't there in 2K15. They came in 2K16, 17, 18 since. But for that first year, they weren't there so much. By the way, one of the other patches that came through with this game, in case anyone hadn't heard, I guess they had taken knee pads out that were in the game because they're also in the CM Punk Roddy Piper online attire that you can unlock. And people said, oh, fuck it, I can just make it myself. They didn't like that because they don't get paid for that. So then all of a sudden, even though the knee pads were in the game all this time, they took them away. That didn't go well. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that could have blown up on them legally. Almost positive. I mean, is somebody really going to take them to court over it? Probably not, but I wish they would. Change the behavior once and for all. Yeah, smooth. I mean, again, I've seen it, and even when they fix it, it don't matter to me. It's just not as good as Fight Night. I just assume fire up the PS3. I love Fight Night. I think that's a great game. I played that on this channel before. 2K website still has only patch notes for 1.19 and nothing after this. Well, that's because they're not quite sure what it is yet that they fixed. Hey, let's try this. What is it going to do? I don't know. Why'd you do it? I don't know. This game can barely run without frame drops at 1440p. You know what, Smooth? You could be right. But at the same time, maybe that's where they've been really focusing a lot more of their team and attention. Maybe they've had a very small portion of the team, try patching that thing. Don't worry about it too much because we're getting out of here. We're leaving this. So Look, anyone at this point in time that pre-orders a 2K wrestling or 2K game of any kind, really, let's call a spade a spade. But if you buy a 2K wrestling game at this point and pre-order it, you can't say a thing about it when it doesn't work. I mean, you want to say it doesn't work and, oh, man, they can't do shit right away. All right. But don't ask for your money back. Don't say that. You already know what you're buying. Their shit is broken, and that's just the way they sell it. The sheep will line up. Bah. Probably mainly my faction BS anyways, but I get it. Yeah, you're right. It most likely is, because they've spent 0 time on Universe Mode. 0. The gazillion-dollar question is, will Vince McMahon spend his hard-earned money for 2K25 when it comes out? That's a great question. The answer is closer to yes than I would have been, depending how things would have worked out last week. And much like Smooth Realism just said, if I wasn't a wrestling mark, I wouldn't buy this crap. We're all wrestling marks at the end of the day. McCoy says, I am a 2K sheep. Bah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, I wasn't disgusted with this one. Yeah, I mean, it still has a lot of the same fucking problems for 5 years now, and that universe thing I just mentioned, that's been as long as I can remember. It never saves the card properly, ever, 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 ever. It's just a friggin', they don't give a shit about universe mode. There's been a lot of rumor that there won't be universe mode. It'll be a hybrid of universe mode and GM mode. I don't like GM mode at all. So that would be a deal breaker for me. Normally what will end up making me pre-order one rather than wait a day or two to see what the reviews are is they do come out with exclusive content that you have to pre-order to get it, which in this case I think we had the Wyatt pack, and then you also had Superstar Billy Graham. First thinking this very question, am I even interested in entertaining the idea? I think I've used Superstar Billy Graham 5 times. Maybe 5 times. So at the end of the day, was it worth it? Yeah, and I don't even need it to be photorealistic. I like that. That's my personal preference. But I mean, when I look at the code, is that photorealistic? No, but it's pretty good looking. I mean, if the game ever friggin' drops, then yeah, I could get behind that. And here we go with YouTube having buffering issues. And I don't even feel bad anymore because I've seen a lot of big-time YouTubers having the same damn problem. So I'm not even going to try and address it. Just let you guys know that the warning label is up there. So if we're having some problems right now with the quality, I apologize on behalf of YouTube. They can't fix their shit either. Maybe they're the parent company to 2K. Or 2K might be the parent company to them. Who knows? $2K18. That wasn't a bad one. 19 is my all-time favorite. Out of the 2K. Out of the 2K. Here Comes the Pain is my all-time favorite. Yeah, again, they took all this shit out. Hell, you don't even have show introductions in universe mode. I mean, what the fuck? See, Smooth, therein lies the problem. I just get creator and lower the bar. No. Why should we? Are they lowering the price? If they're not going to lower the price, why the fuck I'm going to lower the bar? Hell no. It's like, y'all fix your shit that I pay good money for, that you advertised saying was going to do this, this, and this. We got cars that drive themselves. What the fuck? You know what? I mean, you make a pretty good point. Elon's landing rockets where he catches them. And we can't get a video game where the Iron Sheik's flag doesn't stand at attention while it's defying gravity. Seven-year anniversary. Congratulations. Happy for you, man. They have some match highlights. They don't do it all the time, I've noticed, but there are some. You gotta check your settings, I think. I've had match highlights. Now, if it's a feud, it may not, because a lot of times it goes to cutscene. But if it's like a regular match, like a one-off or something like that, or it's not an official feud. Dude, a lot of people are trying. We got Wrestling Code. We got UPW, which isn't realism, but yeah, at least it's another wrestling game. And who's the one I'm not thinking of? There was a third title that was somewhat legit looking. Smooth, man. They don't even give a fuck. They get called out all the time, whether it's NBA, whether it's wrestling. I mean, if it's got 2K in it, they are getting dogged. They don't care. They got your money. The more you dog them, the more they're counting. This guy just said the game sucks. That's great. He paid $80 for it. That's nice. Yeah, I can't. I just can't. I refuse to lower the bar. And that was one of the other reasons, too. I mean, I didn't even pick this game up for 2 months. Not until this last week did I really start picking it up on a more regular basis again. And it wasn't all that hard to give it up. Which is a problem. I mean, again, this was one of those things. I used to be a guy who only bought like 2 games a year. I would buy the WWE game. Then once WCW got in the market and there was, some competition, I'd buy any wrestling game. So I might buy 2 or 3 of those a year. And NHL. EA's NHL, whatever, year they were on. Because I was always a big hockey guy and always wanted that. But that was it. Those are the only 2 games I ever bought. Until the PS4 came along. And then they had the ability to, watch other people playing their games live, which was a new thing back then. And I found The Last of Us. And I was like, oh, shit. This is cool. I didn't know you could do this with video games. It's a fucking movie. You get to be in the movie. You control the movie. I love this idea. Talk about a rabbit hole that you're never going to get out of. The party has begun and the clown is around. There are certain game companies that either have been sued for doing that or were quick enough to do just mass refunds and say, never mind, this ain't going to work. What was the one that just happened 8 months ago? AAA title, completely bombed. And now the thing is worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars because even though it's worthless, you can't play it in any way. It was an online game. But collectors want it because it is now deemed the worst video game ever made. I already forgot the name of the damn thing. I was going to get one just because of the uniqueness of it being, that big a piece of shit. I figured, $20, I'll add it to the collection. Literally, the day they killed the game, it was like $200 and up. And I'm like, fuck off. For a drink coaster? No thanks. Blaze, I don't know if it's all matches. I feel like I've had it. I mean, I haven't. I'm trying to think. I'd have to look at my last stream. I feel like there was one or two matches that did. And I'm thinking if it's a rivalry, that might be the issue. Oh, he's ancient. I mean, in this lifetime right now, he's like in his 50s. But this is his third go-around, so, you know. Two-Gay is so bad that their stats and traits don't even matter anymore. But that was the same thing with wrestling. You had all these things, and some guy got smart and said, wait a minute here, hold on a second. And he took all the numbers and just brought them down to 0 and then simmed a match, and sure as fuck, the 0 was beating, Randy Orton. He's older than Pong. And again, that's in this lifetime. And by the way, I'm older than Pong too, so hey. Yeah, universe mode. Almost all my streams are universe mode. And I had Pong too. I think most of us probably had Pong. The little paddle with the little dial that you would rotate right and left and would make the paddle go up and down on the screen. Vader, Steiner Brothers, Dusty Rhodes, Great Mood, Lex Luger, and Mr. Perfect and DDP. Yeah, that is a pretty good lineup right there, is it not? And it is a solid benchmark. Why don't we see here? Vader, Steiners, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8. We can do an 8-man tag. Or better yet, you know what? Let's do something I haven't done in forever. On the gauntlet. 8 superstars. I want to wear out the Fall Brawl Arena right now. Is this an order of entrance thing? I'd like to randomize it. No? Okay. DDP. Good God. Oh, it is random. Okay. Thank you. Dusty Rhodes, baby. Look at the American dream, Dusty Rhodes, and we are coming to your city. Like I said, I prefer the black attire on Muda. Total package, Lex Luger. Perfection. I thought Vader was downloadable. I guess not. Yeah, Vader. Who else we had? Steiners. tell you what. Let's go this way then. Let's see how this all plays out. As long as you back up your data, buddy, you're going to be fine.
The contest is a gauntlet match. The rules of the match are as follows. 2 superstars will start in the ring. When one superstar is eliminated, a new superstar enters. Elimination can occur by pinfall, submission, or disqualification. The match continues until one superstar remains, and that superstar will be declared the winner.
You know, the funny thing about that, Clown, is the fact that that just goes to show that everyone has a different reason why they buy this piece of shit, even though they know it's a piece of shit. Last year was the first and only year I ever made myself for the game, and I gotta admit, I thought it was kind of fun. But that's only because I was writing it into the storyline for the UPW thing I was doing. No, you can't change any of these guys' hairstyles ever. You might be able to change the color a little bit, but that's it. See, Smooth, that's a lot of work right there. But again, brings up the point. Every one of us kind of does something different with it. Which, that's a positive thing about the game. The fact that you can have that many different iterations of it. You know, you got people that do what Blaze does. People that do what I do. You know, you're doing it with 2 controllers over there. Clown just handing over their money and walking away empty-handed. Talking about shit that's broken in this game forever. That's not the Vader entrance I like. I like the one where he's got that helmet on. But this year, they fucked that thing up, man. It's got like little sparklers that come out instead of the billowing smoke, and it's a hot mess. Did they fix it? Nah. Our virtual action figures. It does seem that way, doesn't it? By the way, we almost did a wrestle chat last week. Me and Jay couldn't get it together on time, but the NXT at 2300 Arena I thought was a really good show. I enjoyed that a lot. They did a good job of mixing the history with the current day roster. The current day roster totally understood what it meant to be in that building. If you follow me on X, I did post a link to the WWE's video where they had the original ECW guys and girls as they were entering the arena before the show and early on before the fans came in, sharing memories of different things about ECW and the time there, as well as, hey, the building's different. This used to be there, and this used to be a locker room. And Rob Van Dam, I used to stretch right there, but apparently that's being used for something else, so... Well, I mean, Big Papa Pump is available. You just have to go through the hanging and banging, brother. They're supposed to be coming up with another challenge for Big Papa Pump. And all that, and you'll also have the Wolfpack version, which is still Big Papa Pump. If I can unlock them, then I can get rid of the one that I've been using, which Status made that, so it's about as real as it's going to get. Nice move right there, swinging neck breaker. Two former WCW World Heavyweight Champions battling it out. Diamond Cutter! Feel the... Oh, the shoulder comes off the canvas. Bronson Reed, I've always liked him, and he gives me serious Bam Bam vibes. Which clearly is what he's after, because that's obviously one of his role models. But I enjoy Bam Bam Bigelow matches too. But Bronson Reed, I enjoy his stuff. I'm not a big fan of him and Seth. I just, Tell you one thing that I'm not digging with the WWE right now, and this Bloodline versus Bloodline. I don't have it in me to listen to 4 months of, Sammy, I can't believe you would trust him again after what he did to you last time. Oh, for fuck's sake, we already did that. Dude, come up with something new, man. I mean, you can put Sammy back with the band, but I can't have everyone warning him that this is what's going to happen. I mean, obviously the payoff is it won't happen. When you think it's going to happen, all of a sudden Roman's going to stand by him. And Ken, to your point about the roster, I was thinking about that earlier today too, with this lineup now coming together. I don't know that there's ever been, I'd have to look. For me personally, I don't know if there's ever been a better all-out roster in a 2K wrestling game. I mean, you got a lot of ECWs, a lot of WCW, a lot of Attitude. You got your NXT, SmackDown, and Raw. I mean, what the fuck? And then you got 200 slots to put created content into. That's to fill it out. Boy, oh boy, by the time these two guys pin one another, whoever's number 3 is going to have a real short night. As they exchange blows back and forth, and Diamond Dallas Page takes the advantage. He looked like a giant flame. Be careful how you say that. that be enough? Vader stretching to the heavens. The sit-out power bomb. Well, Diamond Dallas Page is going to have to go up against a very fresh Muta. Vader looks like he was in a car wreck. Dallas Page wasting no time at all going after Muta. He's got him on the top rope. He's going to go for the cutter. Off the top rope. Diamond cutter. No way. Holy shit. You gotta be kidding me. Vader hasn't even made it to the back yet. And Muta's like, hey, wait up. The total package, I beg your pardon, the dog-faced gremlin. I thought he's going for another diamond cutter. Well, Dallas Page playing it right, man. He's been out there with Vader for a good 5 minutes. The minute Muta stepped in that ring, he was on him like stink on a skunk. And now he's doing the same thing with Rick Steiner. He's going to try and Mike Tyson him and get him out of here quick. All right, let's make it official. Prediction time for Friday night. Steiner is up across the shoulders, dropped across the top rope, and the dog-faced gremlin in trouble. Variation of the Stinger Splash, and now Steiner warming up for the Steiner line, perhaps. See, I'm not even thinking with my heart. I'm just thinking if it's real, it's Tyson and it's quick. I don't think it's going to be real. And I feel like it's Tyson. I mean, Jake might be looking at this as, hey, this is my big payday. What better way to end my boxing career? I mean, he's got a pretty good podcast going on. What better way to end my in-ring career than against one of the greatest of all times, the youngest heavyweight champion in history? Sleeper hold. Steiner with a jawbreaker. DDP with another sit-out bomb. Oh, and Steiner barely kicking out there. Going for the diamond cutter. Referee taking his time. Can you believe this? The number one man is still in the ring. Oh, friendships be out the window now. Neck breaker on the American Dream. Drop down, back out front. Tilt-a-whirl, sidewalk slam. Oh, yeah. I mean, Mike Tyson, back when he was with Cuss, he was just unbeatable, man. Twisty, what's up, man? I watched a few of Jake's recent fights. I just, yeah, he's not in the world of Mike Tyson, even at 58 years old. He's just not. So far, nobody's picking Jake Paul. And that said, Vegas, 30-1 odds that Tyson ends it in less than 60 seconds. A bloody Diamond Dallas Page just drilled the American Dream Dusty Rhodes face first into the canvas. And the American Dream able to get that shoulder up. Well, here's the great thing about boxing. They'll have their entrance. They'll have their ring announcements. Then they're going to ring a bell. 30 seconds later, everyone's going to know if it's fake or not. I mean, I get the logic that, hey, man, we want to make sure it goes 3 or 4 rounds. You know, people are paying money for this, which really most people aren't because they already have Netflix. Netflix paying us good money to put on a show. But I think the overwhelming majority of people want to see Mike Tyson be Mike Tyson and punch this fucker's lights out in 20 seconds. Bionic elbow from the top rope, and this might be it for Diamond Dallas Page. That's all she wrote. 1, 2, and 3. Give credit where it's due. Diamond Dallas Page lasted through 3 performers before getting to Dusty Rhodes, including a 5-minute match with Vader. He eliminated Muta in record-breaking time. Took out the dog-faced gremlin, but the American Dream Dusty Rhodes had his number. And now the total package, and the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, former teacher and student. Total package going to work on that well-defined forehead of the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. Dude, I would pop if it was legit. I mean, if Tyson comes out, does his head bobbing, and comes in with some stiff body shots and a quick uppercut, and you know that he's there for business, That would be it for me. I'd be popping at that point. And by the way, you will 100% know if the fix is in or not when the bell rings, before they've made contact. When that bell rings, if Jake Paul hasn't shit himself, then the fix is in. If it's a legit fight, he will shit himself the minute that bell rings. Can you imagine a scarier sight than Mike Tyson walking up to you and you know the reason he's doing it is he's going to punch you? I can't think of anything much worse than that. I'm sure there is something. I just can't think of it right now. I'm probably going to have some stupid nightmare tonight that Mike Tyson's.
I'm gonna come up there, I'm gonna take my fist, I'm gonna shove it so far up your nose, I'm gonna scratch your brain.
I've told the story before. Let's see if he gets him here. 2.5. I've told the story before. There are certain things in life that you will always remember where you were, right? You know, whether it's 9/11, we all know where we were. For those that are older, John F. Kennedy, when he was assassinated, everyone knows where they were. Hell, when they took a shot at Donald Trump a few months ago, everyone knows where they were. The same goes for the first time you ever heard Mike Tyson speak. I hadn't heard the man speak. He was unbeaten, youngest heavyweight champion ever, was having a title defense on HBO, destroyed whoever it was in about 3 rounds, which for him was a long fight. And Larry Merchant's in the ring. Might have been Razor Ruddock. Larry Merchant was in the ring and says, Mike, what was your strategy there? I saw you looking like you were really trying to put him out there, and you had these really dynamic uppercuts. And we're all on the edge of the seat wanting to hear what the champ's going to say, and all of a sudden...
You know what it is, Larry? I take my uppercut and I can take his nose and shove it to the back of his brain. He won't want to fight no more.
And I swear to God, you heard the clunking of 3 of our jaws hitting the table in succession. Dum, dum, dum. We're like, what the fuck is this? Are they feeding him helium in between rounds? What the hell?
I just wanted to shove his nose to his brain. This way he wouldn't want to fight no more.
But after that, you just get used to that voice. It actually became cool that was the voice. Because imagine, you know, back in high school or whatever, you never met the guy. You're from a rival school. Hey, this Mike guy wants to fight you. Fuck him. Get him on the phone.
Hey, I just wanted to have a fight with you. Maybe we can meet on Saturday night outside by the bowling alley and I'll kick your ass.
Oh, yeah. All right. Come on. You're going to kick my ass. Thanks, Twisty. Unfortunately, I can't imagine me having Mike Tyson call a wrestling card.
I mean, I can think Dusty Rhodes, he's in a lot of trouble right now in the torture rack. The total package, he couldn't put him away right there. Now he's gonna, he fucked up. He fucked up. That didn't. And now Dusty Rhodes is gonna come back in.
Count. All right, I'm going to try something just for you guys. It's never been done before. All right.
Oh, Dusty Rhodes, he's going to work. He got the elbows. There's a bionic elbow right there, and he just busted him open.
Well, we're going to find out if that's enough to keep him down. The total package is eliminated.
Oh, man, he just fucked him up with that. Did you see that elbow? Oh, yeah, there you go, Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect.
Well, Mr. Perfect is perfect in the ring. He's perfect outside the ring. Hell, you better hope he never steps into the boxing ring.
Oh, there's only one Mr. Perfect in the boxing ring, and you looking at him right here.
Going for the sleeper hold. Managed to get out of it. Dusty Rhodes going very quickly, trying to put this one away.
Yeah, Perfect standing there right now. He's looking at American Dusty Rhodes. Oh, he's gonna go. He's talking about the top rope. This is not gonna go well. I think this is gonna be a problem. Ooh, wow. What a move right there. Come off that top rope and he hit him with that double sledgehammer to the back. This reminds me of the old days of Bruno Sammartino.
Bruno Sammartino, when did you ever see him go to the top rope?
I don't know if he ever went to the top rope, but it still reminds me of Bruno Sammartino. Why you gonna fuck with me? You know I can knock your ass out.
Well, I'd be real careful about that if you would. You're in my world right now, pal.
I'll knock you into another world if you fuck with me anymore. You know, everybody got a plan until I punch him in the fucking mouth. Ties up one more time, take them to the ropes. Oh, this is Perfect was ready for that one.
Yeah, well, Perfect's been around a while. He knows the ins and outs, and he's very familiar with the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. That's one of the downsides to having a reputation that precedes you. I know about these things.
What do you think? I don't know about that big elbow drop, though. That might be Aussie Road.
Just like that, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, spilling blood on the way, but he is still around right now.
Big Papa Puppy in the ring now with Mac and Cheese Dusty Rhodes. Then there was a rope back off over the back body drop. Nicely done right there. If I was the American Dream, I would try doing something a little extra with Scott Steiner because he's a big, powerful, strong man, got a lot of muscles on him. I want to do something. I bet like maybe I bite his ear or something like that.
You want to bite his ear?
Yeah, you bite his ear. It's all fair in street fights, you know. You can do anything you want. You kick him in the dick, it don't matter. Oh, you see, like that. He almost kicked him in the dick. Right there it is. Look at him, kicking him in the dick. He listened to me. He's going to win this fight. If he keep on listening to me, he's going to win.
American Dream, Dusty Rhodes almost, but he only got a 1 count. Steiner doesn't look too happy right now.
Yeah, it's hard to look happy when you're getting kicked in the dick. I just, you know, I've done it and I've been on the receiving end of it. I can just tell you it's no fun.
Just like that, there's your winner. Scott Steiner comes in and steals the whole thing.
Oh, that's a pussy win.
Big Papa Pup steals the show. Shout out to Mike Tyson and Jesse Ventura for calling the action there at the end. You know, on a side note, when the DLC does drop with Steiner, it doesn't have the chest tattoo, which I don't know. Did he have that during the Red and Black? I can't remember when he got it. I think he had it then in the NWO. But it made me wonder how much of this might be because of all this tattoo suing bullshit going on. Mount Rushmore of wrestling. God, that's been done so many times. No, you got 4 names. 4 is the magic number. Obviously Hogan. I mean, you're not going to not have Hogan. You're not going to not have Flair. And that's right there, 50% of it done. Now you're fucked. You got Hogan, you got Flair. You got to put Austin. Now what? You going to say no to The Undertaker? I'd have to go with The Undertaker. I mean, I could think of a lot of people to put on that. But, yeah, and I'd like to spread it out over more time periods. I'd like to do a Mount Rushmore that has to represent decades. You know, if we were doing it that way, going back to, let's say, the 70s, so I'd have Bruno, Hogan, probably Taker again, and John Cena in that scenario. See how it changes when you do it that way? But if we're just saying all time, then yeah, man, it's got to be Flair, Hogan. Man, it's tough. I mean, you're not going to not have the Taker. Although I could make the argument for putting Cena in there as the fourth. Need a bigger Mount Rushmore is what we need. Yeah, the Hitman was there, buddy. He was in my head. The Hitman was in my head. I was just like, but I can't put him above the Taker. And I can't put him above Austin. I loved his work, but in the overall scope of the business, ticket sales, merch sales, promos, and yeah, in-ring work. So he has the in-ring work. No one's going to ever take that away. I kind of liked his promos, but I get why a lot of people said he was terrible at them. I don't think he was terrible. But I also never going to confuse him with Dusty Rhodes or Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I kind of think that if you're going to make an honest wrestling Mount Rushmore, you have to do one per 10 years. So pick somebody from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. And I think when you do it that way, you end up with Cena. I don't know how you can not have Cena. Unless you go to strictly all-time greatest, in which case Cena's still in the argument for all the same reasons. I mean, again, he's gold on a microphone, whether you like him or not. The guy can work a mic. By the way, I have a new addition here on the desk joining me. I saw it in the window and I simply had to have it. The President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. Went to the White House today, not for the first time, but first time in a little while. Waiting to see how that all turned out. They were supposed to have had an interesting meeting. Let's take a look at the poll. Surprise, surprise, surprise. 100% for Tyson. All right. Let's see how wrong we really are. I can't imagine I'm going to get it only because I have to be at work early in the morning. And if I'm not going to watch it live, then I'm not going to pay for it. Unless I get home Friday early enough to sleep 3 or 4 hours, and then I can wake up, and I still got to get up early next morning. It's going to suck. I don't know. We'll see. I want to see it. I am a massive Warrior Mark, always was, man. When he fought Hogan at WrestleMania 6, I lost my fucking mind. We were just about done with our apartment at this time. We had like another 3 weeks left on it, maybe 4 weeks left on it. So the only furniture left was the TV stand, and a couch. Everything else was already out. And I had like 3 of my buddies over, and my girlfriend was there. And I got the full-on war paint on. I got the large wall banner of the Ultimate Warrior that they would sell, you know, on at the arenas and shit, and you could put it up in your room. It was like a 3x3, and I'm wearing it like a cape. And a friend of mine was an airbrush artist, and he had done this really. I still have the T-shirt, the Ultimate Warrior in his full flex mode with the tassels flaring out and all that. And I'm wearing that. And he comes off the rope, and Hogan hits him with the big boot, and I'm like, you motherfucker. Because actually the Royal Rumble that led up to that Mania was here in Orlando. And that was where it was just him and Hogan in the ring for a few moments, and they hit each other with a double clothesline from hell that took them both out. Well, I was there for that. And at the end of the match, when Hogan won, I was so pissed. And I was in that same garb, and I'm on this. You could see me on TV. I came running down. I was like one section up off the floor, so I came running down onto the floor. I have this big poster, and it said something about the Ultimate Warrior. I forget what, but clearly I was, rooting for the Warrior. I got the war paint on, the whole nine. And when Hogan had taken the big white bed sheet with Hulkamania written on it and started, parading it around the ring, as he's coming back around to where he took it from the guy he took it from in the stands, I'm a little bit to the right in the corner of that. So hard cam facing lower right corner at the rail. And Hogan, as he's handing the sheet back out to the guy or whatever, and he kind of gets a glimpse of me. And when he does his first, rolling wrist with the cup in the ear thing and all that, he does it right in my face. And he's kind of like pointing at me when he does it. Like, yeah, fuck you, Ultimate Warrior didn't win, brother. And I was so pissed. So trust me when I tell you, I'm a big Warrior Mark. There's no way in the world he's going on the Mount Rushmore. I look like a bong from afar. What are we talking about? What looked like a bong? What am I missing here? Somebody being crazy. We ain't bonging on this. There's no bonging in wrestling. Well, actually, there is, just mostly backstage. That was one of the things. If you, again, for those of you just joining us on Twitter, X, whatever, I posted a link to the WWE. They had a nice little compilation of video of the ECW guys and girls when they showed up at the 2300 Arena the other day for NXT last week. And when Van Dam was coming in, he's like, that used to be my office right over there. And he's outside in the back parking lot, right? He's like, yeah, right outside that door, man. That was my office. That's where I'd hang out. And, yeah, that was my office. Yeah, if you were 5 or 6, that would be why you're conflicted. I had already had 5 or 6 years of Hulkamania, and it was getting old. To quote the one who shall never be named on this channel again, Hulk Hogan was a household name, but so was garbage, and after enough time, it stinks. It's not a cup, it's a bobblehead with a real flag. So it's like a real cloth flag, and from a famous moment, a while back. I don't think it was this run. I think it was, several years back, where he literally came on stage and just hugged the American flag. There was another one. It was a little bit more money. This was only like $17. The other one was like $25, and it had like 8 or 9 different actual quotes of his in his voice. So you press the button and one of them randomly pops out. But I don't know. Artistically wise, I liked the way this one looked. That one was supposed to look more like a serious sculpture of him, more or less. And this one's more cartoonish, but I like it. RVD and Riddleman. Yeah, there's a team for you right there. Yeah, so going into that Rumble in Orlando, my buddy Dale and I were there. And Dale came in, and we're all hanging out and getting ready, and it hadn't even started yet. He's like, this is going to be a perfect Rumble. And I'm like, oh, hell no. He said, now, you got to remember, the internet wasn't happening back then. I mean, it was there, but not like today, and not even close. You were still doing dial-up shit and sounded like you were landing a Mars moon rover or something with the static and all that shit. And it was pretty much AOL. So there wasn't a lot of online presence, but we had some friends that were deep into, trading the tapes and getting the Meltzer shit back when that was the internet. He's like, no, I'm talking to Daniel, I'm talking to this guy, and they said it's going to happen tonight. He's going to win the Rumble, and this. And I'm like, I don't see it happening. And then it happened. He came out, and he got eliminated. So, yeah, that would have been a good opportunity for them to do something with Perfect. And God knows if anyone else, if you're thinking about taking the belt off Hogan at that point in time, putting it on somebody, you put it on the Warrior and you gave him, 3 months, 5 months? Tops? It was a short run. And if you believe the original Self-Destruction DVD, he wasn't selling nothing. He wasn't, nobody was paying to see him. I was like, no, the houses were still doing really well. Madison Square Garden was still a sellout. He was carrying the ball. Now, was he a nice guy to work with? Doesn't sound like it at that point in time. Was he going to put on a 5-star classic? No. Although the one he had with Hogan was pretty fucking good. But as we learned, the two of them could never capture lightning in a bottle again. Yeah, Smooth. Him and Hogan was great once. They tried it a second time, you may recall. Wasn't great. Great's not the word people use for that one. They use a lot of words, just not great. Great's not the one. Yeah, I mean, you got to remember now, by the time Slaughter's turning heel, we already know that it's sports entertainment. We already kind of knew it anyway. But, the cat was out of the bag by then. It wasn't a matter of, I hate him because he's now Saddam Hussein, because he's not. He's a character. And when you hear the stories, and I wonder how much of this is embellished, but when you hear the stories that, the WWE called them up and said, I just want you to know the wife and kids are okay. We're sending security over there right now. What are you talking about? It's like there was a death threat made. And, I remember, again, I'm here in Central Florida, and we're going to the old Orlando Arena to watch wrestling once a month. And some of them Southern folk believed this shit was real. I mean, all of it. Even back in kayfabe days in the 70s and early 80s, we knew it couldn't all be real. Some of it might be. Yeah, I think he really punched him there, and maybe he did because they potato each other. But there's no way stomping on the guy's head. He'd be fucking dead. So there was always that element of, it ain't all real. These Southern folk, it's real. You better believe it's real. The Warrior was over, and that's the whole thing. And they did it right with him. When he came out at SummerSlam and he took out the Honky Tonk Man in, 20 seconds, and Honky Tonk was the champion for over 2 years, I mean, that meant something. And then a few months later, he's beating Andre in about a minute and a half. Even less in the house shows. The 3 big matches with Bret and Austin were all fucking phenomenal. Every time I think about Bret Hart and Stone Cold and their trilogy, they had a lot of other matches, obviously, but there was the 3 big ones in successive pay-per-views. And for me, those 3 and Steamboat and Flair's trilogy, for wrestling, it just doesn't get any better. You're not going to get anything better. What was I think it was the first matchup between him and Austin, Bret Hart and Austin, where he got him in the sharpshooter. Austin finally passed out from the pain with the blood dripping down his teeth. Was that Survivor Series, I think? That match, that last minute and a half alone, was the best ever storytelling. And, dude, if it was a movie, they couldn't have made it come out that good. The way that stream of blood came right down the middle of his face, down his nose, off the tip of the nose, then came down over the top lip, split the front teeth. I mean, it was theater. And he won't give up, and he won't give up, and he finally collapses. You are just never going to see another wrestling match that good. I've seen some really good ones, but not like that. That just had it all. Damn smooth. That was a big mark for the Warrior, and even I can't say I liked his promos. Oh, God. Damn, I'm not sure I could ever understand one. Listen to me, warrior. I take the fuel of the rocket ship and it runs through my veins. I will take you all to parts unknown, and you will hang from the arms of the warrior. I'm just sitting here going, is there a point coming in at some point in time here? WrestleMania 7, Macho Man. Oh, with the multiple. It might be the first time I can recall as well. And it's. You hit with 7 Macho Man elbow drops. I'm surprised Savage went for that. I really am. I mean, I might let you kick out of one. But 7 of my finishers and you're going to kick out? I don't know about that. Because then how's that finisher any good after that? Oh, yeah, that's the problem right there, Richard. They have to find another video game company. That's the problem. It's nothing to do with the AEW company being wrong. Here's the thing. If your TV audience is 500,000 now, which is the last numbers I heard, you're now running neck and neck with CNN, who's about to fire 50% of their talent, if you want to call them that, because they are hemorrhaging money. Elon's looking to buy an MSNBC. Everyone is freaking the fuck out. We're out of jobs. Because they know he's going to cut all of their asses out. He might not even keep the cameramen. AEW is AEW's problem. I saw a clip the other day, and I couldn't tell you from what show or how long. I think it was Dynamite, with a couple of the cruiserweights. Couldn't tell you who they are. One dude, definitely one guy had a mask. Maybe they both did. I'm not sure. But they're doing this little pinwheel bullshit where they're doing like conjoined cartwheels all the way up the ramp and then all the way back down again. Like little snowflake. If you haven't seen it, imagine somebody has you up for a tombstone and then you just kind of like roll sideways to your feet and then put them up to the tombstone and they go to their feet and put you up for the tombstone and you keep rolling like a wheel. And they did that up the stage and they did it back down the stage. And I'm like, that's why I don't watch the show anymore. And I've seen a few of these other clips too of this ballerina bullshit. And at what time, Tony, do you realize nobody's watching except you and some of your closest friends? That's your audience. Now, if you got that kind of money, more power to you. I don't know how you get anyone to pay advertising on a show no one's watching. And we're in, what, year 5 almost now, if not? At some point in time, you got to step back and say, you know what, I suck at this. I know it's my childhood dream to be the booker, but apparently I'm not good at it. Poetic. Now, there's a word that I never would have associated with an Ultimate Warrior promo. But hey, if you got something out of it, good. Warrior was a god-like character, so he sounded all cryptic. I'm not sure if it was that cryptic because he was a godlike character or because he really didn't know what he was trying to say. I will take this wheel of the plane and I will shove the plane and the controls forward and we will drive straight into the earth. The woke mob going after angry video game nerd. Is that an individual? Is angry video game nerd a person, like a channel? Because I'm not familiar with whatever's going on here. I believed in the Nikita Koloff gimmick. I thought he was fucking Russian. And not for nothing, he lived it. Warrior was ready to die. I got news for you. By the end of that interview, I think I was ready to die. That was a rough promo. I was still a fan, don't get me wrong. I still wanted him to win, but I'm sitting there going, what was that? There was a non-televised tag match between the Ultimate Warrior, Kerry Von Erich. Oh, that's cool. A reunion of WCCW. Versus Perfect and Rick Rude. It's on YouTube. Excellent match. It went on for 20 minutes. I have to look that up. Thank you, Rich. Ultimate Warrior and the Modern Day Warrior. I like it. He uses metaphors to describe what he wanted to convey. I guess, but there's this old saying about read the room. And I dare say a lot of the folks that were watching didn't know what the fucking metaphor was. He was a low-key genius. Well, you know what? You might just take the number one fan spot from me for Ultimate Warrior, and I'm okay with that. Angry Video Game Nerd was a YouTube original, and he attacked the 2016 Ghostbusters film. Everybody attacked the 2016 Ghostbusters film. It was a piece of shit. I can tell you that 2016 Ghostbusters film was on like TBS one time, and I watched about 15 minutes of it, just like the opening 15 minutes, just to see how bad. And I could tell you after 7 minutes how bad. The extra 7 was just to make sure I wasn't wrong. The Survivor Series team featuring the Road Warriors, the Ultimate Warrior, and the Modern Day Warrior. That's a lot of warriors. Well, now the Road Warriors and the Ultimate Warrior did team up in six-man tag team matches quite a bit, going up against all 3 members of Demolition. I got to see that match here live in Orlando, and I've got some really cool pictures still to this day. One of which where the Warrior's doing his signature finishing splash, and I snapped it at the right moment, man. He was flying in the air, coming down, the tassels and the hair are all flying. I'm real proud of that picture. One of these days, if I come across it again, I'll pull it aside and I can put it up on screen here and y'all can see it. Woke Busters, who you going to call? Well, Woke Busters now goes by the name of Elon Musk. I'm surprised they didn't make Slimer black. I got you. I thought it said Slimmer at first. I'm like, Slimmer, what the hell? Slimer black. Why would you make Slimer black? He's green. And by the way, in the first movie, that was the best. Bill Murray gets hit by Slimer. He's like, what happened? What happened? He slimed me. I got a huge pop. Back in the day. All right, let's see. Maybe do one more here. I think we'll do a one-on-one match. How's that? We'll do Nitro this time. Change it up a little bit. Gonna stick with the Great Muta in my favorite attire. Going up against... hold on to that thought. Diamond Dallas. Luger. I was thinking Luger, but... Ooh. Yeah. 84 for perfect? Really? Ubisoft, why do they do half the shit they do?
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from the land of the rising sun, weighing in at 230 pounds, the Great
Well, there goes the other entrance, but that's all right. We've seen it already. Don't get no double count out to start the match off now. Get in the ring. Look at Muta gets to be the baby face. Bouncing the skull of Muta right off the apron. Pile drives perfect on the floor. My goodness.
Well, Perfect brought this on himself. Attacking Muta before the bell ever officially sounded. Referee's going to have to try and gain control of this one.
Oh, it might be over after that. Pile driver on the concrete. Mr. Perfect looking less than perfect right now.
Muta really making him pay a price for what he did to him at the start of the match.
Finally, we might get the action inside the squared circle. There's the bell, and now we're official.
I'm starting to wonder if that was ever going to happen. Now they've actually got to play by the rules. Let's see if they're able to do it.
Muta going for a submission. That Japanese nerve pinch. Nice reverse into a shoulder block, and now Muta hits the ropes. Referee, get out of the way. Lightning quick elbow drop.
Very agile young man. He is a top-notch athlete right now. He's not the biggest guy in the ring half the time, but he'll make you pay and suffer in different ways.
Perfect driving the knee over and over again into the shoulder and the chest of Muta. Irish whip to the ropes. Knee to the midsection. And now Perfect follows it up with a boot to the face. And now Muta in trouble. Tremendous suplex.
Nice snap suplex right there by Muta. Putting some extra spunk on that one. Mr. Perfect going to be feeling that one.
Elbow right across the jaw. And now Perfect collar and elbow. Has him up for the suplex. And down he goes. Double rake in the face, and Muta adding the crimson red to the black and white paint.
Well, Perfect was on the receiving end of a lot of punishment after that early attack, but now he's finally getting it back.
Once again, that running knee to the midsection, and now Muta gonna have to dig down deep and come up with a solution to what has to be a perfect problem. Lighten up the chest of Muta with that knife edge chop, and now follows it up with a shoulder tackle.
I can tell you right now, the Great Muta better come up with something fast because he's in trouble.
Big slam right there by Perfect. Hooks the leg, gets two, and almost got three.
Well, almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but it almost counted right here in the middle of the ring.
Muta has him down and now cinching up on that side headlock. Trying to take the life right out of Mr. Perfect. There's a pile driver. Up in the air and down he goes. Big chop to the head. That might be enough.
He's got him in trouble right now, and Perfect able to kick out.
Muta has him up. Back elbow stuns. And now Perfect back in there for the collar and elbow.
Muta once again throwing Perfect into the corner, now going to work.
Well, Muta is equally lethal, whether it be with the hands or the feet. He is well versed in all forms of martial arts.
Well, coming from the Orient, believe me, you're brought up that way as from the time you're a small child. They are brought up with the strictest of disciplines, whether that be overall behavior or the way they are taught to do combat.
Sleeper hold now by Perfect, but too close to the ropes, and Muta able to get out. Perfect plex, couldn't hold. Yes, he does. He's got the shoulders down. Will that be enough?
Well, the referee took a long time to get there, but she's still there to count to three.
Mr. Perfect victorious. Big win for Mr. Perfect. Indeed, a perfect victory. Do you remember that second NWO music Bagwell and Muta came out to? Is it in the game? I don't recall second NWO music. And the best I can tell you is the only NWO music I am familiar with in the game would be that of the NWO that we all know. But let me just see something real quick. Jukebox. Entrance tracks. Well, we already know it's not going to be under Muta. And Bagwell's not in the game, so there goes that. So I'm going to say probably not, buddy. Trying to see if there's any... Yeah, I unlocked the Chad Gable 16. That wasn't a particularly hard one. I got the video up if you're interested. It was a Tiffany Stratton Money in the Bank ladder match. You had to win, but you have to get your 90 points first before you can win, which is part of the thing where it gets a little like, But I had enough VC to buy the Tiffany card because of several of these locker codes they'd given away, and I never did anything with them. I mean, I cashed them in and got the cards, but I never touched them. I never did anything with them. But part of it is a lot of times you get VC for it, and it adds up, and since I never used it before, I had enough to get the card. So let's see what else we got here. Anything that looks like NWO? That's Diesel. On the day I was born. Gigillins, is she still around? I can't remember the last. She hosted a recent event. But so far as in-ring, I can't remember the last time I saw her, and I like her. I know she was Priscilla. I can't remember her ring name. Priscilla something or other prior. And I thought she did good there until she pulled a tampon out. Got a nice Dookie planetarium. I think I know what you're referring to, but I'm not positive I'm right. Yeah, I'm not coming up with what it would have been. It's definitely not ringing. And by the time they had all those NWOs now running around, that's when I stopped watching. You had a red and black and white, a Spanish version, of this version. Everybody was NWO, and it just kind of like, okay, that don't make any sense anymore. But to your point here, I don't see... I mean, they don't even have the right Rick Rude music, right? Shinsuke Nakamura, did anyone ever give me a response? What happened with him? Is he still active at all? Is he injured? What's the deal? I haven't seen or heard from him in a while. Haven't heard that he left. Yeah, it looks like that's the only NWO song, so I wasn't expecting him to have anything else. Now, once the DLC drops and you can get... I don't know if Muda was part of the NWO alternative or not, to be honest with you. But That said, if there's an alternate NWO theme, I would think that would be where you'd find it. Jim Johnson was killing that sax. What are you going to say, man? The guy likes sax. We all like sax. He's still active where, though? In the WWE? Because I hadn't seen or heard nothing. You know, maybe on a future stream here we can play Guess the DLC packs for 2K25. Which of the new talent is going to be on launch and which is going to be in an NXT pack or the next WCW pack. We're pretty sure that Goldberg will be a DLC, even though he's been in almost every game except for this year's. Still waiting to see if they're ready to bring Brock back yet. That should definitely have happened by now. All right. I think we're going to call it on that one. Hopefully you guys got any questions that you had answered. I appreciate you hanging out and talking some wrestling, talking about some Mike Tyson on Friday night. Chances are sometime Saturday afternoon I'll be back here and we can find out and talk about whether it was real or not. It's tough. I really would like to say that 30-1 odds, it's worth throwing $10 away if you're wrong. And I would do that if I knew it was a real fight. In other words, if he really tries to kill this guy in 30 seconds or less and couldn't get it done because he could just outrun him, all right, I lost my bet. But I don't want it to be because, hey, man, I'm not going to hit you 100%, man. I'm not going to hurt you. You're supposed to hurt him. That's the name of the game. But, yeah, I get it. They're playing at different rules now. Oh, boy, oh, boy. All right. Well, that is a wrap, as they say. We'll catch you guys next time. Be there or be square. That's an old one. And I will catch up with you guys on the backside of that. In the meantime, stay safe. Be good. So long.